Dave, are you expecting a better Dak Prescott? And let me buckle up in my seat for this one. You expecting a better Dak this season?
You can call it expect if you want. I know I'm getting a better Dak Prescott this year. There's no doubt about it in my mind. When I saw this video, the way that I cracked my neck and just got ready 2 days ahead of time, I was like, oh, we're going to do this on the show, and it's going to be phenomenal. Look, Dak Prescott, even with last season, where he famously, thanks to LeSean McCoy, I know this is burned into my brain, he led the league in picks. He threw 15 of those things. Even with that anomaly of a year, he's got a better career interception rate than Josh Allen. He's got a better rate than Kirk Cousins. He's got a better rate than Lamar Jackson. He's got a better rate than Tua Tagovailoa, and he's got the same rate as Joe Burrow. The only upper echelon quarterback who's better at not throwing picks than Dak Prescott. Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT of it, and Patrick Mahomes. So, I mean, that's pretty good company to keep. I would argue, and I have argued this entire time, that with better receivers who can separate better, Dak Prescott will throw fewer picks. You can go look at his numbers across his entire career. Last year's a statistical anomaly. Give him Brandon Cooks. Give him a Michael Gallup, who is another year removed from an ACL injury. And, oh, by the way, all-pro CeeDee Lamb. It's hard to do.
Hard to do.
That's a pretty good core, and I fully expect Dak Prescott is going to play better. He missed 5 games with a broken thumb last year. I know you can't do this, but if you extrapolate, if you just assume the injury doesn't happen, he throws for 4,000 yards and 33 touchdowns. That's the pace that he was on. With a better receiver core and a full season, I don't just expect, I know that Dak Prescott will be a lot better.
I think Dak is Dak, right? And you said that if he didn't miss the 5 games, he'd have had how many yards?
4,000.
He missed 5 games and he led the league in interceptions. So if he played them 5 games, how many more picks you think he'd have had?
A few.
Since you're just doing that,
yeah,
right? Since we just,
right? Fair.
My thing with Dak Prescott is this. I think to say he's going to be better, I think he's going to be exactly who Dak Prescott is. 7 years, 2 Pro Bowls, 7 years, two playoff wins. I mean, you lose Kellen Moore, right? I think he's a hell of a coach, offensive coordinator. And then Mike McCarthy's going to be the coordinator.
Play caller. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just saying, he hasn't called plays in 5 years. Yeah. I don't know how that was going to work out. They had a top 5 defense. I know they brought Gilmore on board, who's a hell of a player, great cornerback. But it's like they're top 5. Are they going to be top 3? Mm-hmm. How much better are we expecting Dak to be? I just think he is who he is.
It's been a minute. I'll give you that.
This is the guy. He is who he is, man.
Mike McCarthy had a top 10 offense 9 times during his tenure in Green Bay. So, Mike McCarthy knows.
Who was his quarterback?
With good quarterback play, yeah.
No, not good. He's a great.
Hall of Fame.
Come on, man. 4-time MVP.
So Aaron Rodgers is great when it fits the argument, but he's bad when it.
Aaron Rodgers has always been a great player.
Say a lot of negative stuff.
Dave, let me ask you this, because I'm more shady in the sense that Dak will be Dak. But who is Dak? Dak has thrown for nearly 5,000 yards. Who's Dak? He's a person who's capable of starting.
Do that part.
He is. Who is Dak? Dak is that. But let me say something that I don't know if you at home have heard of. I thought about it this morning. Dave, we're so meticulous with the draft process in this day and age, and I really want y'all to hear this, that you aren't going to let a great quarterback fall in the draft. Mm-hmm. You might overdraft a quarterback. We've seen that recently, Anthony Richardson, right? That happened right now. He's number 4 overall. He didn't deserve to be number 4 overall based on his play. You might overdraft one, but you're not going to miss. Think about this. Quite literally think about this for a second. It's mind-blowing. Super Bowl this year was between a second-round pick and a first-round pick. The Super Bowl the year before was between a first-round pick and a first-round pick, Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow. Super Bowl the year before, between a first-round pick, Patrick Mahomes, and a 6th-round pick, Tom Brady. Super Bowl, Tom Brady's always the outlier.
Sure.
Super Bowl the year before, second-round pick, Jimmy G, first-round pick, Mahomes. Super Bowl the year before, first-round pick, Jared Goff and Tom Brady. Super Bowl the year before, you have Tom Brady and Nick Foles, but really Carson Wentz leads them their first-round pick. I could go all the way back to 2000, and I believe it was 6 or 7 when Matt Hasselbeck shows up, 2005, to simply say, Dave, Dak is Dak in the sense that he has physical limitations. That's fine. But the physical limitations will likely limit you from getting to the promised land because statistically speaking, unless you're Tom Brady, who has since retired, we have never seen a 4th-round pick or later go to the Super Bowl in the last 15, in the last 20 years. And that's not because of coincidence. It's because, if
it is what it is.
We gonna draft you early. I just think Dak is limited, but he still throws for 5,000 yards, so it's not even like it's a diss. It just is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Dak is physically limited. Like he's never going to do the freaky types of things that a Justin Herbert or an Aaron Rodgers can do. That's why he was picked where he was picked. But Dak Prescott's been in the league since 2016. Like, after a certain point, I don't care about that.
About limitations.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers will show you that if he's healthy, again, Dak Prescott is a quarterback. Again, if we extrapolate for a full season, Dak can throw 4,000 to 5,000 yards, 26 plus touchdowns, and typically 12 or fewer interceptions. That puts him among the best in the league. And again, that's my entire point. Like,
what year is this?
It's crazy. Literally every year before last year. I can do this all day.
Are we doing last year? We're not doing last year? I forgot. That don't count.
Even with
last year don't count, I guess. That don't count.
Even with last year,
This dude had the most.
still got a better interception
The most
rate.
pick six in the league, and he missed 5 games. The most picks in the league, and he missed 5 games.
I'll go out.
That's hard. That's like hard to do.
I will step out on a limb right now and say it won't happen this year.
No, I agree.
Not with better.
I agree.
How do you agree? We don't know.
That's actually.
We don't know that.
It's hard to do. Leading the league in picks 2 years in a row is hard to do.
More. He's
And you missed 5 games.
for every healthy season, 6 healthy seasons, 4 trips to the playoffs. Again, he's got a better interception
7
rate
seasons, 2
than guys like Josh
playoff
Allen.
wins, and 2 Pro Bowls.
My other point is that it's not
Regular numbers.
That is why it drives me crazy when people say, look, Dak is limited. That is why it is the job of the Cowboys to get him Brandon Cooks, to get him CeeDee Lamb, because he needs those guys. And by the way, pretty much all quarterbacks do.
Correct.
He needs those types of talent in order to be in the best situation. To their credit, the Cowboys learned a lesson. Oh my gosh, trading Amari Cooper is going to put your quarterback who's physically limited in a bad spot? It's crazy
Let
to
me
think
ask you this.
about.
I've known you well now. I've known you, I think, maybe 7 or 8 years now. Working for the Cowboys is where we dated back to. 11 QBs, 11 quarterbacks have been to the championship game since Dak Prescott entered the league. Dak is not one of them. Amongst those quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo a couple times, Nick Foles,
Jalen Hurts.
Yes,
Come on.
Like, I wanted to name the quarterbacks that aren't held in that high of a esteem.
Oh, okay,
That's really where
okay.
I was going for.
Dak's like level.
At what point, Dave, do you have to look yourself in the mirror? And Cowboys fans, truly. You're not really a Cowboys fan. You're a fan of Dak, but you know him personally. At what point do Cowboys fans have to look themselves in the mirror and say, you know what? It's not coincidence. It's not this. It's not that. It actually is Dak. 11 quarterbacks since he's entered the league. At what point does that happen, or does it ever happen?
I mean, I think a fundamental difference of this is I think we look at these things different ways. Like, I think the number of quarterbacks who can pull this type of stuff off, first of all, it's incredibly hard to do.
Of course.
Second of, like, I don't know if we have time to get into this. Like, I don't magically put Jalen Hurts on this unattainable tier. He was drafted 53rd overall for very similar reasons why Dak Prescott fell in the draft. If you surround your quarterback with the right supporting cast, you can help him out a lot. So I don't magically think of Jalen Hurts as being in this tier of quarterback who can get his team to a Super Bowl because he quarterbacked a loaded Eagles team. Does that make sense?
That's fair.
I don't know that you ever come to that point because you can always surround your quarterback with more talent. You can always catch different breaks. Having said all of that, I will concede if the Cowboys, with the roster that they have put around Dak this year, assuming good health, assuming all of that stuff, if you don't get a better showing this season, then I think the Cowboys have to have a hard conversations with themselves about what their ceiling is.
What is a better showing? I want clarity for the viewers and myself.
At the very least, playing better. I mean, straight up, he played one of his worst games in the biggest moment.
But that's subjective.
So
give me something.
Play a better game on that stage or get further in the playoffs. It would sure be nice to get that NFC Championship game monkey off their back. They haven't played in one since 1995. Or, hey, if you lose in the divisional round going toe-to-toe with Jalen Hurts and you score 38 points, but it's not your day, that's a different story.
Can I ask one more
question? But I need one or the other.
Okay, one more. So you like this new roster for the Cowboys? Offensively,
It's a nice roster.
Right? Out of all this roster, who's the weakest link? Who's the weakest?
You want the boring answer?
Who's the weakest position? Skill position, not lineman. The skill position.
Why does that matter?
Nobody never argues about that. We just argue about
It's tight end.
We argue about the skill position.
It's tight end. Tight end is the weakest link.
Fair. That's a fair answer.
Who's the second one?
Running back.
Don't do that. Tony Pollard?
Who else?
We gonna tag?
How many you need?
Yo. Next set.
How many
He just talking. Next set. The Pro Bowl running back is the weakest link.
I knew you'd like that.
What?
It's Tony and who? There's
Good.
You need multiple running backs.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.